I think at the end of Nuke, they started winning. They gave themselves the taste of victory that they were finding solace in finally. They couldn't get it to overtime, but they still did streak a few rounds together. And now starting on the CT side, the less favorable side, granted, on Anubis, but can they step up to the plate and continue on that upward trajectory that they lay out for us on Nuke?
The question of the evening, I am sure. Just waiting to get live here. We are obviously in the game. Everyone looks to be ready, but a small technical issue just holding us back slightly. One of the things I think MIBR really did well with was the pistols. Absolutely fantastic look from them in that sense. Sure, some wacky strats, but certainly seemed to be something that they had worked on, you know, not just kind of making it up as they went along. Really great pistols from them. And I think it just sort of set the tone for the beginning of both halves to completely catch Red Canids and just, you know, gain control of the game in those early rounds. It was very valuable for them with just, yeah, some strats that you wouldn't necessarily expect. So maybe we see a little bit more of that here.
This is a really interesting, like, middle ground of a map, but MIBR have looked pretty rough since coming back from Pro League. You know, losing to the likes of Insanity, Sharks, Bestia on LAN. And they've also previously lost two Red Canids on this map. And they did look very good on it in Pro League, though. Some really good victories against Spirit, man. Like, M80 in form, Heroic, 9Z. Those are some solid victories on LAN. But Red Canids, they got that 13-1 over Furia. But this CT side on B, it shouldn't last long. Venom's error, the fact he gets one there is actually really impressive. But through the smoke, MIBR get pelted with a barrage of bullets. So now we see ourselves in a 2 versus 4 post-plant.
Ooh, nice find from Insani.
Oh,
getting some big damage onto Henny at range. That's pretty monstrous here. He's gathered some good information as well. The one big thing is that Nathan's got this kit, so there's no massive rush for the CT side. Insani ready and waiting for this fight down behind. Can't quite nail it. He's doing so much damage. The kills are escaping him. In comes one. Just runs out of ammo, unfortunately. Safe spots. There's no one on that bomb. A quick headshot landed, but a quick return headshot as well. There is that kit available. Thank goodness Nathan didn't go down, because I think this one would have been way too close to get over. But Red Canids, by the skin of their teeth, will indeed find it.
If Insani just had a few more bullets, he does tremendous. That's the word. I kind of mixed terrible and tremendous together there for a second. I don't really know what happened, but
it's late, man. It's late. It's gonna happen, you know.
Bro, this is the morning for me. No, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. But he does do like really good work, and it's just like if he had a bullet or two left, that round's a different story. Also, just great shooting at the end there. I thought the 1 versus 2 was very much alive with the HP at disposal. But MIBR, Davideus, that's an opening kill. And this flashbang, ruinous. Nathan, fully blinded, drop, closing down, runs out of bullets again. But luckily, he has so many players behind him, it doesn't seem to matter. And this time, it is another 4 versus 2, but it's in favor of MIBR.
Bomb goes down. Quietly on into proceedings as well. And you can see Red Canids actually starting to back away. They're going to give it. That's rough. That is very rough. You know, on your second round defense of the pistol victory, going for the save is never really a nice feeling, but does have to happen here. If they knew how low some of these players were, it'd be a different tale, I'm sure, but obviously they don't. So they have to give it. MIBR maybe slightly confused. I don't know. Does it feel too early for a save? Would you not just, like, try and go for this? You're a bit screwed in the next round anyway. So, like, what's your thoughts on that? Would you just send it here regardless?
I've got a very unpopular opinion. I love a save, man. I love a save.
Okay.
I know.
Unpopular.
Yeah, I know. Shoot me. But I have this whole, like, I think it's maybe I think a part I have two sides of me. The one of just like go and kill him, and then the one of like uber tactical maybe, and like uber like, you know, that's an issue. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have ever swung there. Like play with your team, etc. And for me, it's like a save fits into that of like I have this thing that I've just made up along the way of just like the retake fallacy, where you get that kill in that 2 versus 4, right? And, oh yeah, we can get this retake. No, you can't. Like, realistically, you're not going to win that. So now in this round where, as a City side, you lose the second round, you're in an awful position economically. You're supported by the fact that you can save over a little bit more weaponry. You can get a little bit more drops. Normally, in these type of situations, you just see five 5/7s. But here, we have a little bit more potential success for Red Canids. And for me, that's a big Freddy thumbs up.
Hell yeah. That's fair, man. That's fair. I think you've got a point, you've got an opinion, and it's pretty well fleshed out there, in all fairness. I think from maybe a competitive standpoint, I would potentially agree with you, but from obviously like a broadcasting entertainment standpoint, it is a 100%. Little boring. But everyone does it for a reason, you know, even here in South America where they love a force buy and whatnot, you'd maybe expect them to be liberal with their economic decisions in a situation like that, and it's not the case. So, you know, it really does reverberate across the world. Oh, that's a bit awkward. Davideus not as safe as he thought. Yeah, and absolutely should know that. And he's slightly off center, so that's really going to cost them. B-bomb site is super vulnerable now.
That is, he's going to be a big telling off for that in the morning. And, this is... So yeah, it's another position where it's like, save. Man, that round was good. Like, it was a little bit awkward timing where Red Canids go for this 3-man A push, kind of as MIBR are prepping to go towards the B-bomb site. But that round could have had contestability, but Davideus just, yeah, like, so if viewers don't understand, Pillar is a very strong position on Anubis because you can play either side of it, and normally where you just be out in the open, you can actually isolate Jules very effectively and catch players off guard. Davideus, obviously there, misread his situation immensely. So much so that he's peeking out while his back is turned to connector, and so because that kill gets taken, you see a speed up from MIBR, and they're like, oh guys, the B bomb site's empty, and then they can revert their attention very quickly to this connector push, and it just all falls apart for the CT side.
Yeah, tough for Red Canids, man. It's not been the start that they desired. They did so well in that pistol. And it has crumbled. It has slipped through their fingers. They've given control of the half across to MIBR, which is obviously not a nice place to be in, especially given this map, given the context of where this sort of best of 2 series has been at. Really quite an important one for Red Canids. Again, a point that we lent on is the fact that when it comes to the bigger teams, they've actually not looked that great, you know. I think against the rest of the field, the rest of the playoff teams that they're going to be really competing with, I think they've only got maybe like 2 out of 6 maps, you know, so not a fantastic look. Maybe that stat's even worse now against MIBR with how that previous map's just gone. So yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough for them and just other teams' opinions of them as well. Slow round coming out here, Freddy.
Yeah. Should be fine, so I'm going to continue that conversation. Doing a bit of quick, I'm assuming head-to-head holds weight in this league phase.
Sure.
Red Canids, if they lose this, they will be 6th because Fluxo, on the same score as they would be, 19 wins to 11 losses, have beaten Red Canids in both of their head-to-heads, 13-7 and 13-2. They also have a way better round difference. So MIBR are currently playing for 2nd place, whereas Red Canids are, if they lose this, they're 6th, which is you know, that puts them at the bottom of like the better teams, right? You've got that kind of top 6 of the big dogs. Maybe Odic could have been there, but no. And Red Canids will be at the bottom of that, and MIBR looking to rival Pain.
Exit looking for the entry. There is an aggressive move here, but Red Canids not going past the threshold of main. I do kind of like this setup, and MIBR have to be careful with their approach towards A, but feels like the first big proper round here between these two teams. You know, economies are even, buys are even. So you can feel it a little bit. There is some tension here. Drop has made his way into dark. Might not expect him this fast. He's not looking to overstep his mark just yet. Lukowski goes down on the edge of that smoke. Unfortunately, I believe his own break of it as well. So can't tell you how many times I've seen those smoke break plays go negatively, you know, backfire on the guy that threw the nade. To be honest, it happens more often than not, it feels like.
I feel like as a B-site player, you're just so primed for that to happen. And now it's about just kicking it over the line for Red Canids. This, like, how many players can we keep alive? Not looking good, because Insani, he's simply insane with his aim. But a lumbered spray onto Henny means that Red Canids should probably get away with 3 alive, and Safe is looking to save the AWP into the next round. So for Red Canids, right off the bat, this is way better than Nuke. Not only have you won the pistol round, but you've actually converted the first gun round. So even though you did lose the following buy against after the pistol win, you keep yourself in conversation substantially more early doors than you did on Nuke, because it was 8-0 on Nuke with MIBR, and like already you kind of call the game over at that stage, whereas now we have some fight back.
Indeed, it is good to see. I think we sort of worry a little bit as things develop for the Red Canids side. Not quite sure what to expect there, a less consistent element. So it is good to see them finding competition early on. MIBR maybe going to have to go a bit deeper here into the strat book in the early stages. They are back with a bye, but absolutely do need to find this one as it started a little negatively. The nade lands well. Red Canids don't know it, but they've actually done a lot of damage there.
Okay, forcing the issue. Drop was a menace on Nuke, and he's looking to lead the charge here onto this straight A execute. No messing around with MIBR in the early stages, and they've actually even up the scoreline, but sorry, the 4 versus 4, but HP dwindling. Lukowski's on 11, and the rotations are fierce. Red Canids have taken control towards B main. That's allowed for everybody to rotate over. We're trying to lay down further utility to try and help our case, but MIBR, you're going to have to reset here, or if you continue going through with your mission, there's only going to be failure on the other line.
Looking very good here for Red Canids. The bomb is unable to commit. That's maybe a good thing, to be honest with you. Gives MIBR a chance to reapproach the round if they so choose. It may well be a saving situation once again for them, unfortunately. I think that is the case. So, Red Canids looking pretty good. Guns have come out. It's not like these rounds have necessarily been tough or close for them even. So, a fantastic sort of showing in the early stage of Anubis on this weaker side. So, MIBR, they are stuck. They are very stuck indeed. Red Canids can even things up.
I think it's going to be a very difficult spot for MIBR, not only in this following round, but into the next gun round, right? Because we've got an MIBR who have saved twice, so he's got the AWP out, yet to be effective with it, which is also a narrative. But you've got exit saving, so you're going to have a very disjointed economy going into round 8, which would normally, in a normal setting, be the gun round. However, here, it's potentially MIBR thinking, we might just have to force buy because of all this weird economy we've decided to go for that saves. And yeah, there it is. it's just a straight up force buy around the AK and the AWP, keeping the pressure there.
See what they can do with this. I think they're quietly hoping again for some aggression to come their way. It's not really going to be the case. The Red Canids have done well playing this half and half game. You know, the setups are quite far forwards, but the moves themselves really quite disciplined. Giving up the mid control could be a dangerous prospect in all fairness. Plenty of utility available for MIBR here. Exit baits out a smoke. What is the game plan, man? I think they're trying to see what they can get away with. Insani gonna move through a molly, I think. Takes a fair bit of damage, but we're getting some decent mid control down here and could really run amok with said control.
I think we end B here. Issue is these smokes and connector are brutal. It's going to allow for Knifin and Davideos over on A to start clearing out A main. They kind of have to as well, because they've got no mid control. So their hands being forced, but it's a positive reaction for Red Canids. They need to start doing this now. There is a smoke in A main still, but our attention focused towards B. Henny's being torn away because of that mid presence, and now here comes the full execute. 3 from B main, 2 from connector. Coldzera spotted 1, swinging in for the fences, and he will be rewarded with the opening kill. 15 seconds left. Utility still there for Red Canids, so MIBR not able to immediately entry onto this bomb site, and Venom Zera is just halting them in their place. USP out, and the 4K will give Red Canids their 4th round.
Hey, it's looking pretty legit here, man. The individuals, again, are starting to perform stronger, which was something that we commented on pretty heavily on Nuke. So, yeah, I think Red Canids can be pretty satisfied with how they are displaying themselves here. Taking the lead now as well. It is a solid innings thus far, and I think it's kind of set to continue. They're even, you know, denying bomb plants and really not allowing MIBR to get into the game. So, bar the force buy, this has been a pretty one-sided affair. Yes, it's 4-3, but I think the picture is very, very different. You know, Red Canids lose the disastrous round. You know, the one round you don't want to lose at the start of a half, of course. And it costs them quite a lot, both in terms of the score, but also just financially, also just in the game itself, in a monetary sense. Coldzera, gotta be a bit careful. That's a nice transfer from him, actually. I thought it was his supporting element that got that kill. Not the case. Exit is going to try his best to create something here. Doesn't happen. Bit of damage, but Red Canids, they continue their winning ways.
Yeah, this is a real shape-up in performances. Safe's yet to really get anything done with the AWP, and he's had a consistent AWP on this server. He could get the AWP out again. He can get AWP and armor just about. 5.4k is all you need. No utility though, so that could be a worry. I'm kind of as we do the tech pause, I'm kind of casting my mind back to 2 rounds ago when we had that B pop and Venom Zero got the 4k, and it's like MIBR had everything. They had Henny rotated away. They had only 2 players on the B-bomb site. They were quite slow at actively getting out of B main. I think there was util, but not for the whole time. And I feel like, yeah, they had everything. Sure, they had lower weaponry, but where were the Tech 9s closing the space? You know, all of that jazz. How are we allowing Venom Zera to get a 4K? And potentially, why are we doing all of that with 15 seconds left? It definitely doesn't help. So, not the MIBR from Nuke. Sure, their T-side wasn't great on map 1, but I was just like, yeah, it's Nuke, whatever. Go on to Anubis, and it's very important to have a good T-side. Red Canids are not allowing them that equity just yet.
No, that is true. That is a very good point you raised, to be fair. And I want to say, could be wrong. Maybe I fact check myself here live on air. I think when they played Crew yesterday, they started off on the T side. So let me just corroborate that, I suppose. Actually, a little difficult to tell because it's just one map, but
I don't think they played Crew on Anubis, did they?
No, on Ancient. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just in the sense that, you know, did they pull off the comeback. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they started T side, right? So it does seem like that's a bit of an issue. And then they made the comeback on the CT end. Yeah, so a little problematic, the T sides, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm kind of taking a look at their Pro League results, and seems like they weren't massively like dominant on the T side. Against Spirit, it was actually 6-6 on both halves, and they got it done in overtime. But yeah, it doesn't seem like, I don't know, is that maybe something to keep an eye out for MIBR T sides? You got a change recently. That's always
it's true. It's very true. Yeah.
And somewhat inexperienced IGL. I am correct in saying Drop is the IGL, right? Or have I completely... No, wait, what am I on about? Sorry.
I think it's Exit, I'm pretty sure. You've got me doubting myself now as well, to be fair.
Oh no, Drop took up the IGLing role, right? Yeah, dropped the IGL.
Again, checking live on air.
That was like a somewhat recent change, if I'm not mistaken. This year, as in.
Yeah. I think you might be right. That's always something that's a little difficult for us to track, as it were.
I think it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, oh, drops the IGL now. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Like, it feels like maybe a role that he can move into. At one point, a little bit of a heroic kind of player. And a bit of a prospect, a bit of a hope, but never really panned out in the way that he potentially wanted. And, you know, maybe a review of his career after getting dropped by Furier, of course. So, yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. I'll hold my hands up and say, you know, I didn't rightly know that he was IGLing. So he's a very young, very inexperienced player to go for that kind of role. You are correct.
Yeah, I think it's very new. Yeah, I'm just pulling up the interview here. He was, guys, I need to be more active. I need to play in better roles. I can't be Ank anymore. I need to talk more. So he became IGL because he was already talking so much. He was the second caller. I was talking more than Exit during the mid-rounding and stuff like that. So we need to change something. So we're not going to change the roster. That's why I came to the IGL role.
Well, there you go. And pushing pretty heavily for Lucasi, I would imagine. And yeah, I think to circle it back and bring the point back, that it's a bit easier, one would argue, to just kind of be like, okay, what roles do you like on the CT side? What roles do you really not like? So we can try and, you know, work it out so that he's not just coming in and, you know, replacing everyone in their spots. I don't think Lucasi is quite that player yet. He may well get there. But in terms of the T sides, it can be a lot harder, you know, to figure out where you want to go in the pack. In the Fluxo side, he was a super confident, super aggressive bomb site opener, as it were. Not necessarily the first one in, but on this team, Insani's kind of doing a little bit more of that. But then it does feel on the past couple of maps, he's been playing more of a lurking role. But there's Lucasi just kind of showing maybe why, yes, he should have that primary role. But you can see on the other side of things, in comes Insani. So it's very nice when they prove your point in the round, in the game. Meanwhile, on the site itself, Cold Zero trying to hold the line. Will it be enough here? He's bought a bit of space.
It's really sharp shooting from Cold Zero there. Like, that double is honestly quite impressive from the position he was in. But MIBR seeking to prove your point live on air. And a big talking point of MIBR is just the amount of firepower that this roster wields right now. And they're exhibiting it on this round. Like, you know, so many different players can step up at so many different times. It started off by Insani and Lucasi, but Save shows up. Sure, he's had a pretty slow game while wielding the AWP, but he can still excel with the rifle. And that's MIBR breaking through after losing 4 rounds in a row, showing us that they still have some skin in the game.
Absolutely, sir. This is looking very, very good indeed. MIBR able to bring some competition. The timeout issue may well have been theirs, and it might have solved all their problems.
There was a player on the floor dead, I saw.
Ah, well, there you are.
What a nade. What was Luke
They've done well on the nade. Both sides have been pretty nasty on the nades, I have to be honest. Oh. And he doesn't find it while blind. It's another find for exit here. Drop flying in. Takes a leg. An overface from Henny. Kind of has to do something, unfortunately. Probably will be a save in the 4 versus 2. So MIBR getting back to back and closing this gap.
It's kind of shocking as well. Red Canids have no economy. In
That's
that
the
2
CT
versus
side,
3.
isn't it, really?
Yeah. I'm saying in that 2 versus 3 in the previous round, I kind of would have liked for them to save, but that's again me being very facetious with saves. Evidently, the retake was not possible. And yeah, so because they don't bring anything into this round, you go full Monty, you bring everything out, and look at this. You come away with nothing to really show for it, and then a A1S and FAMAS, that's it. No util, no kit. Like, no one has any money. You're going to get a purchase not in this following round, in round 11, but you will get one at least in the final round of the half. And in this round, it's... I was going to say damage, but damage doesn't actually matter. Venom Zero and Cold Zero are in a very difficult position where a kill, 2 kills, 3 kills, it really doesn't matter. Like, they have to go for a round win. And you can see Henny's, like, purchasing some utility to try and position his riflers in the best place they can be. But it's MIBR clawing their way back on the T side. And, you know, 7 here is fine. And it actually makes this half, like, all of a sudden, you know, Red Canids were like, wow, they're running away with this. And then in the space of 4 minutes, the whole narrative shifts.
Yes, of course, it is a little wild, but that is the game. MIBR. I don't know, like, what sort of round score do you like to see out of a T-side Anubis? I'm saying at least 7, if not a little bit deeper than that, particularly because they got, like, the hard reset on Red Canids. You know, you feel like they should have been controlling the game a little better.
Yeah, 7 for me is like, on a T side, you're like, okay, guys, we got 7. Nice. But I think 8-4 is a T side, is like, that's when you start. I think that for me is like that's a good enough. But we are starting to see this map get a little bit more 5-7 halfy for the CT side. But 6-6 is not enough. It's not good enough. It can be enough, but to me, it's not good enough. So MIBR, you got 6. Can you push over the line? You've got no AWP on the side. Not that that's been much of an issue. But you've changed up your fortunes. You've got some success. Can you bring yourself in second half? Pushing your weight and showing why you are the better team. And Insani says yes.
Really looking good in this half, and he has stepped up in the past few rounds as well. It has to be noted. Red Canids kind of falling back on their default approach, which is to just look for those timing aggression plays, not even, you know, the contact flashes and things like this, just sort of sending manpower in. The 1-for-1 trade is not going to be good enough outside of B main. Costs Cold a lot of HP as well. So, look, Nathan spotted, finished. Insani, he's got a good read on where these players are coming from. Must have heard a Henny step a little earlier. His teammates ready for the camera play. It's all down to Cold Zero. Nothing he can really do from here. Of course, the final round of the half means that he has to at least show his face. Will he be able to survive a little while longer? The answer is no. Him down. There's the 7 we were looking for in MIBR with a recovery at the tail end of that first half. We'll see you in the second.
Red Canids in that first half showed they do have a fierce bite, but unfortunately, they couldn't continue that success. So now as we go on second half, MIBR are in the driving seat. They won the first map, they won Nuke, and they're looking to win both of these now to secure themselves potentially a second place in the regular stage of ESL Challenger South America. But this pistol round, Red Canids, they are fiercely hot on the scene on this B-bomb side.
Yeah, some aggression pulled out from MIBR. They run into the brunt of the attack, of course. The bomb has yet to go down, so there is certainly potential to stop that from happening ultimately, and Safe will do exactly that, at least for the time being. Keeps the headshots coming as well. A big round out from Safe. The ace on the cards. The last one proving difficult. Will leave him low. Swaps to the Julies to get the job done, and the ace comes out for the MIBR AWPer. Absolutely incredible showing and stealing it away all by himself.
Okay, Safe has had a very poor game when it comes to AWPing. He had the AWP out a lot very early on their T side, and he did nothing. But he has had now 2 really high impact rounds, one with a rifle and then on that pistol round. So sure, we might be looking at him to say like, okay dude, like how about on the AWP? But if he's still able to show up when he doesn't have the AWP and he can fall back on other means of success, that's really powerful. And Red Canids, that was their round for the taking, and they don't even get the bomb down. So they're going to be starting on the back foot now on this T side as they head into an eco round.
The Cowsy to open up with the advancement here. Does go past the bomb, but checks his angle. Oh no, it's Insanity, excuse me. The closeness of those 2 players caught me off guard for sure, but all the same, at least someone is checking those corners. Bomb will be dropped. More money to be made. Knife is out, but unsuccessful. Imagine, yeah, that would have been kind of wild. Not in a million years, though, with so many players around. MIBR quickly move up to 9.
Okay, that round went as anticipated. The SMGs got some dollar bling bling. But now this is a really big litmus test for this half. Red Canids, they've never really been in the they never really had an advantageous position by a substantial margin. They've been fighting from behind, time in and time out. They're down by 4 rounds, but they're on the rifles. Issue is, Cold's already taken a hefty chunk of damage to the grenade. And this is a must-win round for the T-side. And they are playing it very simple. A default spread across the map. Not really putting much pressure, apart from being knife in the middle. But ultimately, at a minute 20, after they've held the extremities, we're going to start seeing some bullying towards connector. And the bomb is currently in middle. There's no really clear direction yet of where Red Canids want to end. Okay.
Yeah, it looks that way eventually. I would say, though, you know, the bullying has been pretty successful here. Kill actually comes in. Cold Zero just holding the angle. They get a little overconfident. Lukazi knows his life is on the line. Has to make a move. Does not work out. Does some good damage. The kills don't convert. And it is a bonus here. There is a fair amount of cash available. Drop was the first one in to potentially find a kill before the bomb went down. But as soon as it gets planted, he's out of there and they will save. So not much in the end of this round. Red Canids do very, very well. As you say, keep it simple, and it's MIBR that make the unforced errors.
Yeah, there was that, like, ounce of pressure in the middle. And so because of that, we only had 2 players on the B bomb site when the hit came through for MIBR. And Insanity dies quite early. Lukazi gets put in an awful position, an awful predicament to be in. And naturally, he doesn't get a kill. Don't think you really expect him to do much there. He's being pincered with the MP, and he's got an MP9 at his disposal. So Red Canids, they speak to me that, yeah, they are gonna contend in this half. They are gonna put up at least some resistance. And that was a pretty nice default. That ended up being a very nice round. Very simple, very effective.
This is what we look towards, though, to see whether there will be an answer back from MIBR, whether they can stop the Red Canids before they get going. Molotov comes out early. It seems like Red Canids know that MIBR might want to make a move here. Going to be another B play. This one potentially coming faster than the last. Lucasi's got the right idea with the molly. Maybe a smoke down here, though, to really just solidify their position. He will get it in. They might opt to go through it, though. They've got their own little wall of smokes. It's a clever idea from Red Canids. Whether it works is, of course, the big question. Heads on the swivel across the board for MIBR. Not a single frag for the Red Canids. Barely coming close. It certainly felt like a cool idea, maybe one that MIBR have seen before. At the very least, they were right place, right time, very well set up.
So that's how you counter that. For reference, I think we came upon it on a scrim recently, and like our B players, I remember watching it just being like, what is going on? I was like, there's smokes everywhere. And I was like, what execute? Like, I was like, what even is this?
Yeah.
So apparently that's actually an actual, like, it's actually a play, right? It's not just something that some random ESCA main team worked up. But it gets countered, I would say, perfectly. I don't know what else MIBR could have done wrong there. They started originally with only 2 players on the B-bomb site, and rotation swarmed him. There was a fantastic reaction at the click of the fingers of those site players, and Red Canids, they barely even get out the mouth of B-main, keeping 4 players alive ultimately. MIBR, that is a fantastic rebuttal after losing the first gun round.
Yeah, really quite smart from them. Might come down that there's a little bit of a tell, even. That early Molotov, you know, at least gives the game away that Red Canids want some space on B and don't want to be seen. So I think MIBR were ready for a B play. And then, of course, that level of coordination from them with the rotations. Drop. Good for 1. Can't get any more. Insani comes round to thin the numbers, but spots 2 more. And yeah, does not fancy his chances against those. Waits for the fights to come to him. He will eventually fall, but he's bought enough space, found enough kills to win the round out. Great game coming in from him. It's good to see from MIBR over the course of a couple days of following this team on the stream. They've had Safe, they've had Lucazi, they've had Exit. Now they've got Insani playing very, very well. So the whole team feels pretty capable if they can get it fully ironed out, fully polished. Then I think they will be a formidable foe. Nice shot from Venom Zero against the AWP. Had quite a few of those across the course of this series, just unwinnable fights being won. So, yeah, they continue impressing these individuals.
I wanted to talk about how grim around that was MIBR, but now this is a winnable position for Venom Zero. Lucauzi isn't going to be in a position to deny the bomb being planted. But Venom Zero, he's overthinking this one. Oh, if he just got the bomb down, that would have been his best chance in winning this out. But still, MIBR are both separated. However, he doesn't anticipate exit up close. Okay, that was a round that Venom Zero, he hits that first shot, and he forces you to believe, right? He hits that type of shot, and you're like, okay, well, I have to give this respect now. But ultimately, it's a lovely round from MIBR with great layering in middle, fantastic rotation from Safe, and wonderful support for drop by Insani. And it's just 1 by 1. Red Canids can never get a break.
Yeah, looking tough here, isn't it? They, again, started this half off decently well, but unfortunately have stopped coming close. MIBR taking over the game. And this is one of the big issues. Yes, it's a T-sided map, but getting through these fraggers can be really, really tough. And they are not pulling any punches. Insani keeps his fragging ways going, doubling up on the KD now. And yeah, they're all the way in, mate. They're all the way in.
I was also saying last round, Lucauzi pushes B without being spotted. So they've just done that again. And now we have, I was going to say a big rotation, but not everybody's actually here yet for MIBR. Finally, Safe does join the fun. Drop is still alive. He's the final line of defense from the original anchors. And, well, He doesn't miss a beat. He drops 2 dead in front of him. And MIBR take map point and look to finish the season in the group stage very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a pretty clean run of games the past couple of days as well. There will be a break going on. I'm sure all these boys want to get down to the playoffs for Rio as well, hopefully in the crowd. But they also have to get that prep time in for the playoffs next week, and well, what better place to do it than in the officials themselves. It's a very good sign for MIBR, I think, if they are able to tap into this kind of performance, and again, particularly on the individual level. Oh! All right.
Did they just kill each other out the server?
I'm not sure what's happened.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on either. I think it's a 3 versus 3. Now it's a 2 versus 2.
Oh,
3?
Insani's also gone.
So it's a 2 versus 3 by the mini-map. By the X-ray,
Yeah,
seems like
catching up.
exit. Oh, it's a 1 versus 1. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've only seen 2 kills in this round, and it's a 1 versus 1.
Something's happened with the connection.
But we're still going ahead. This is, it seems like we're very much live still. Damage was done, even though both teams have met a very awkward fate. It's even playing fields. Venom Zero, though, planting full exit. This could be it. This could be the final kill of the game, and it's an unorthodox end to Anubis. But MIBR looks like they take 13, and it looks like Red Canids are going to have to settle with 6th place going into playoffs.
Okay, so definitely, yeah, one of the finishes, one of the ends to a game of all time. I don't think I've ever really seen anything like that at all. We have seen some wild stuff over the years in Counter-Strike to finish off games, but yeah, that's kind of wild. I don't rightly know what has gone down there, sir. It did seem we had some disconnections on both sides. I don't know what to say. But ultimately,